hope it was Power here to review the DX Lupin Magnum from Lupinranger vs. Patranger. That should have been switched around, but I don't know how I said it in those reviews. So, yep, this is the second to last item that I needed to get out of the series, but this is also what is considered the final mech of the series, but it's also basically in lines with the X Changer. This is also a roleplay weapon, but also the mech, or also a mech. It's kind of like Data's Hyper and such, so it's neat, but obviously as you can see the package is really big as it showcases the Lupin Magnum in both of its modes, and obviously this is the Lupinranger centric toy because what even is Patranger? So there's Lupin Red doing some trickery. There's the Lupin Magnum. This is how I got it. This is the bottom of it. There's that stock image they use of it. There's Lupin Magnum, and then there's Lupin X, and this is done really weirdly, but let's just get this over with. So here's the Lupin Magnum out of its package. Let me zoom out. As you can see, it's I will say I don't know how you would describe this, but it's a really fancy Magnum for sure, as this is proclaimed as the ultimate Lupin collection piece. I don't recall. But just starting over the details and such, I would say there's the Kaitou V emblem. I really do like the paint overall on this, although I do feel like some parts should be painted, especially like here and here, so then they can bring out the markings, because I really do appreciate the markings on this. It makes it look like very royal-esque and like, I don't want to say foreign, but like it really does like help enhance this being like the ultimate piece of the collection. Obviously, this is the red base. Obviously, this is mostly where the mech will transform, and then this is the black base where its gun counterpart is. Then we get some blue as for the arrows, although I wish this arrow too was painted, and there's no arrow on this side. There is gold on around where the numbers will normally be. However, I can't pick out the majority of these marks because of my lights. Well, it's actually picking up here, but my lights are making this too bright. But here's the barrel. I like that this gold is painted, but again, it's not presented here. And again, the green's for the mech. The track for the VS Changer, since this is to be in serial 53, and obviously there's this button that the VS Changer will hold down when it's inserted. So that's basically it. Obviously the dial can be turned, however it locks at 4 points, so from like top, bottom, left, right. Top, bottom, the trigger presses to how you see it here. However, when you turn it left or right, it will actually transform it, which I will actually show, because I can't do it over when the sounds are on, because it will, you know, I'll be talking over it. So left or right, I'll show it on the right, but when I actually have the sounds, I'll do it properly. So you press the trigger, it'll drop down the legs, and then obviously for transformation, you just simply fold out the arms like so, and fold that flap down, and there you get the Lupin Magnum in its robot mode. I'll go over my thoughts on it later, but that's basically the transformation. And as you can see here, the speaker is at the front. So, folding this all back together and pulling this tab out, which obviously It's actually not a part of this. It's part of the Decade Ride Watch because when I got this toy, I got it used for 2,000 yen, so it did not have batteries. But anyways, the sounds when you start are really basic. I forgot to turn that back. So, in its Magnum mode, the sounds are really basic. You get basic firing sounds. I don't think the sounds are as impactful as how the show portrays it because it's not as it's just not as impactful. And yeah, that's basically what you can do with this by itself. Now, obviously, the main half of its main thing is that it can be dual with the VS Changer, or it can be combined with it. First of all, here's a size comparison with the VS Changer. It's actually fairly, it's small because it's a Magnum, but handle-wise, it's tiny, for sure, because my pinky kind of slips off. At least with this, my whole hand can at least grasp it, but yeah, the handle's just kind of small. So obviously you can dual wield with the two of these, although it's technically supposed to be the other way around, but yeah. So to combine it with the VS Changer, you obviously slide this through the rail. So then you get this standby, but however we're just going to press it. You get that basic firing sound. And yeah, so this is, I don't know what you call this mode, but yeah, I really don't know what you call this mode of the VS Changer, because I guess it's technically cannon mode, but it's a really funky cannon, for sure. Yes, you got the two, I forget what you call them now, but it does actually make the VS Changer kind of top heavy, which is why you do hold this with two hands. But then just for fun, the VS Changer for this track specifically is, well, I'm not sure, for any track that's blank, I don't think they're programmed to actually trigger anything. But so here's the VS Changer with the Lupin Magnum and the Patranger mode, which I actually really do like. It makes a really nice cannon thing. I really wish this actually did happen, but obviously it didn't. And then folding this up, we get the Lupinranger formation, which just looks ridiculous. And honestly, with this formation, I'd rather prefer just doing it like this. But anyways, putting back in normal formation. So with the Lupin Magnum, you actually get, when inserted in the VS Changer, you get 3 finishers. So if we turn the dial once, in which I'm going to turn it like this because this is how he does on the show. So when you turn it once, you get this standby until you press the trigger. So you get the first iteration of that attack. I don't remember the attack specifically. The Itaraki Do strike. And then then for the second one, you turn it once, but then when you turn it twice, you get that. You get a new standby too. There you get the Itaraki Do strike, and then last but not least, you get the final one when you turn it 3 times. So now the standby speeds up, So you get the attack he mostly does, the Itadaki do strike. And then obviously when you're turning this, it actually counts to 1, 2, 3, but then I think in French. Or so I would just let it do its thing. So, there's actually one more attack sound, but it's like randomized between whether 1, 2, 3. I'm still trying to figure out what it is. I want to say it's French, but I want to say it's Spanish too. So I'm going to try to do it to 3, and also you could just do that. So you get that attack, which you can hear Good Striker announcing it. Basically this attack is what he does, I think from the one episode I rewatched. Trying to like remember the Lupin Magnum functions. That he does this like when he's in the when he's outside of the mech. So this shot's like specifically for like mech fights and such, but I think it only got used once. I didn't even know it got used in the first place. Obviously, just remove it like so. That falls. So reverting that back, now we'll actually do the next function, in which is the robot mode. So simply turn it to this arrow like so. You'll have this standby, and press the trigger. So there you get the transmission sound of the Lupin Magnum, which I do think is really interesting. And obviously, I do like the fact that it gives you enough time to actually do the transformation while it does its sound and such. And the sounds you get out of the Lupin Magnum, just simply press back here. That's really it. You don't get anything for holding it. So, yeah. Obviously, Lupin Magnum actually does have articulation. That's what you get for holding this. So, you just rotate its arms, and it can go that. But that's because for its next mode, you can actually upgrade it thanks to these pegs, to which you take the blue and yellow dial fires, clip them on. Now he becomes Lupin Magnum Superior. It's literally just the Lupin Magnum with bigger arms. I think toy-wise it looks disproportionate just because the dial fighters are a bit bigger and chunkier. So there's nothing different. It's literally just rotating the Magnum arms, because you can try to rotate these on their own, but as you can see here, it's kind of riskier, and you don't get as much movement. Well, I guess it depends, because the blue I can move fine, but yellow I can't. But honestly, you can do any other function, or you can use any other combination. Like, for this sake, I actually do Splash Magic, just because these are on my good crew Kaiser. And just to note too, I did lose the other booster from Magic because My niece took it and she lost it. So I'm just gonna have to wait for it to appear. So yeah, that's basically it. Obviously the transfer went back like so. And for it to actually sit. Yeah. So overall, what I think about the Lupin Magnum is that I think it's a really fun toy. Like, it's a really, like, fun, like, simple toy in the toy line. Because this technically serves as toy that makes its own sounds within the changer, which is interesting because I would have expected them to do, like, a dial fighter that makes its own sounds that it falls in. But I do think it's interesting that they just had it that like you insert a gun in a gun, because I actually do like that. Lupin Magnum itself, like the robot mode, I don't really care for as much of it, to be honest, just because I'm not really like, I think it's, I don't know how to explain it. But it's just I don't really care for it as much. Lupin Magnum like never really appealed to me as a mech. I like the gun. Like, I like the Magnum just because we don't get a lot of Magnums. I can't pull out the other Magnum, but I'm pretty sure they're the exact same. They're about the same size. But you know, like, for it being a Magnum, I can excuse its size, though I do think it's still a bit small. I think my problems with it is that sometimes when you actually do try to when you try to like do the like try to transfer the Lupin Magnum, sometimes it can get like basically the way it does it, which I can't demonstrate because I put the tab back in Decade, but basically when this arrow is like it just barely like not touching this arrow, this will get stuck. And then like sometimes too, when you insert this in the VS changer, it can actually like make, I guess like this doesn't get pressed down enough to like when you press, like, I don't know, when you press the trigger really hard and such in the VS changer, you will actually like lock the entire Lupin Magnum in there. Like, you can't turn the dial, you can't press the trigger, so you have to like forcibly like get it out. So like, I guess like only flaw is that it can get jammed up sometimes, but other than that, I do think it's a neat toy to get. Honestly, for track completers for the VS changers, or for like collectors, this is a must. Or this, I don't want to say a must, but this, you kind of do have to get this because it does provide a different track. Although I do think the way, like, how empty the VS changer is, it's like you could have literally done any track that didn't have a sound. But again, I just appreciate that they actually did do this, although this being the final mech is kind of underwhelming, if I had to be honest. And obviously this would have been impossible, but I would have liked a Patranger counterpart to the Lupin Magnum. I understand why they didn't, because Lupinranger sold more. But I would have just liked equality, but then we're already over this, so it's just like there's no such thing as equality in this series. So that's basically it for this toy. I do recommend trying to get it cheap because this is kind of one of the more difficult toys to get after the series end, which is why it did take me a while to get this. But yeah, so technically if I get jackpot, that will be it. But I think this will be one of the last few Lupinranger vs. Patranger toys I'll be covering here. So this is PowerRider, and I'll leave people. It hasn't really been 2 years I've been covering this series.